Welcome back. Mr. Cowan here to help you with more of Chapter 9, Lesson 10, more percents of increase and decrease. All right, if you have an assignment from page 259, pause the video, check your answer. Come on back when you're ready. So our goal again is to solve problems with percent of change, solve being the action word. For instance, the price of a phone increased in 1 year from $108 to $120. What is that percent of increase? Now, again, think about where we've been. We've been talking about relationships for a while. Percent always compares to 100. The part is often related to the whole. And the newest one, in which some people write change versus original. That's the most important part. Frankly, if there's anything you write down today, that might be the most important thing. Yes, there is one more thing to learn, another relationship we'll be talking about. No matter what the date, no matter what the assignment number, go ahead and pause your video, title your paper, get ready for 6 examples. Come on back when you're ready. So folks, once again, to review where we were yesterday, if you watched yesterday's video or were in class, we often see percent compared to 100. Now we're talking about change versus the original amount, which I hope you just wrote down. So allow me please to do this first one as a think aloud. I'm going to say aloud everything I'm thinking in my head. First thing is I'm going to read a problem. A toy store changed the price of a puzzle from $5 to $8. What was the percent of increase of the new price? Now, I try to actually say back the problem without using numbers. Look, here was a puzzle and it cost something, and then it went up to something. I guess what I'd like to know is what percentage of that original something it went up. So notice I told you back the problem without using any numbers. Now I go back and I mark it up. What was the percent of increase of the new price? So as soon as I see that, I'm thinking, all right, I'll use P. Some of you use I, some of you use X, but the point is we don't know what that percent is. That's our missing piece. Now, the price changed from $5 to $8. So if I write that right here, immediately I think, what's the original amount? Yeah, you guys are thinking change versus original. $5 is the original. How much does it change? See, this is what we want. So I notice it goes up 3. So I would like to know what percent compared to 100 is the same as 3 to 5. Now, of course, you may go into your cross products here, but I would argue you don't have to. Seeing that 5 goes into 100 quite nicely, I can find that scale factor. 5 multiplied by 20 is 100, so let me be fair. Therefore, the P percent is exactly a 60% increase. Choice A. I'll pause if you need to rewatch that because that's me talking the whole thing through. Let's go into another one. And if you ever want to pause, read it on your own, that's fine. At a sandwich shop, 175 sandwiches were sold during lunch. That evening, the number of sandwiches sold rose to 231. What was the percentage of increase? Again, we sell some sandwiches, then we sell some more sandwiches, and we want to know what is the percentage of that increase. I'm a very visual guy. I often draw pictures. Some of you do just fine auditory. You just listen and you got it. Question, this sounds very similar. So look at the first two examples, example 1 and this one. How are they similar? How are they different? Where they're similar, because they have percentage of increase. They're different, the numbers are different. Starts at 175, starts at 170. I guess that's a similarity though. I do, when possible, immediately put that 175 in. Now, in the evening, rose to 231. But I would argue that 231 is almost irrelevant to the problem. I won't say absolutely irrelevant, but what we need to do here is we need to figure out how much did it in fact increase. So let's go ahead and subtract. To find that it actually increased 56. If all the question said is how many sandwiches did it increase, I have the answer. It's 56 more, but actually it says what is the percentage. Now I'm going to come up with an estimate, and I notice looking right here at this relationship, is it exactly a whole, more than a whole, or less than? Well, that's less than 1 whole. So it's got to be less than 100%. It cannot be choice A. So let's find out. I don't see anything, a kind of scale factor that we could change 175 to 100. So let's go into our cross products. First thing I'll do, 175 times some number p. The other cross product would be 56 times some number 100. Now, I don't know what 175 times p is. After all, that's an unknown amount. But I know 56 times 100 moves the decimal point twice to make 56 hundredths, or 5,600. Of course, we want to know what the percentage is. So let's go ahead and be fair to both sides. Divide both sides by 175. And if you wouldn't mind trusting me here, I can tell you that this divided quite nicely to a 32% increase. Sorry, I didn't write the I there. So again, if I real quick go to 2-page mode, look at how those problems are similar. Both of these problems asked you to find a percentage. Both of these problems asked you to find a percentage that it increased, it went up. Both of the problems, you're able to put the original number in. The first example started with 5, the second, but the big difference is how much they changed. And yet we can find that change versus the original. 3 to 5, 56 to 175. So there's, even though the numbers are different, there's a lot of similarities there. Now, as I look at example 3, look for similarities, yes, but also look for differences. Local car dealership, 144 cars sold in a month. Following month, numbers sold were 120. What was the percentage of decrease in the number of cars sold from the first month to the second? All right, hold on. Immediate similarity, question says, what is the percent? Immediate difference, this guy goes down. Start with some cars sold, goes down, and we want to know what is the percentage that in fact decreased. Okay, nevertheless, 144 was the original number of cars, went down to 120, which means there were 24 fewer cars sold. I will compare 24. Okay, yes, that's different, but there's still change versus original. So quite honestly, these problems are similar. All right, come up with an estimate first, please. Let's see here, 24 compared to 144, I don't know, 20, 17, oh, well, it can't be 24 and it can't be 120. I was gonna guess this, but let's find out, shall we? Into our cross products first. I tend to do the term with the variable, 144p. Term without the variable, 24 times 100. And as long as I multiply both diagonals, then we maintain the equivalency. In fact, 144 p's are equal to 2400. And in this case, ladies and gents, it actually goes on and on. I do believe it ends up being 16.6 repeated. So if I had to choose one of these, 17% would be a better answer for it. So again, you see similarities, you see differences. Pause, rewind if you want to listen to those three again. Let's look at similarities and differences with number 4. All right, what do we got? Tara bought a video game, originally $8, marked 40% off. There's a key math word. How much did Tara save? Now look, ladies and gents. We got a video game that's $8. The cost decreased. It actually decreased 40%. Could we find this? Yes, but that's not what the question's asking. The question is asking, how much did she save? In other words, how much did that cost decrease for 40%? All right, why is that important? Because now, in this case, we actually have the percent. What we don't have is the decrease or the savings or the discount. Meanwhile, we still know we're comparing it to 8. Now, you could call this a change versus original. You could also call this a part versus a whole. $8 was the whole cost. Think about it another way visually. We want to know what part of it is taken off. So that's what I meant, part versus whole. All right, meanwhile, many of you will go into cross products. 100 times D. 8 times 40. I don't know what 100 times D is, but I know 8 sets of 4 tens would be 32 tens. Let's divide by 100. And folks, just to be clear, anytime you divide, you could go off to the side, you could divide this, but anytime you divide by a power of 10, you can just move the decimal place. In this case, we'll move it 2 places to the left because it's getting smaller. And I want to point out, this is not a percentage problem. The question said, how much did she save? Final answer of $3.20. Oh, Mr. Cowan, you forgot to make an estimate. If I did make an estimate, I would have estimated, well, 40% is a little smaller than half, so half of 8 is 4. I would have guessed 3. So that's pretty close. So how are these problems different? Well, again, number 3 was asking what the percentage was. So our variable goes over 100. Number 4 was asking how much she saved, how much was discounted, what was the change? So that would go over the 8. All right, let's carry on. I'm just going to set this one up, and I think you'll trust me to solve. 3% commission. Let me use a different color so it sticks out a little better. 3% commission for every house she sells. Sold a house, $290,000 is the price. What commission did she earn? So if you go to the relationships, question, it gives us 3 out of 100. And it gives us the entire price. Now listen, every time people sell a house, the owners don't get all of that sale price. Some of it is kept and given to either the buyer's agent or the seller's agent. Oftentimes they're given to both agents. She keeps 3%. So the question is asking, what is that commission? What is that part that she keeps? I can trust that you guys can solve this, I do believe. If you're wondering, just look at it. It's quite similar to number 4. And just as a heads up, remember, I just said that agent doesn't get to keep all of that $8,700. Some of it'll go to her company, some of it'll go to the other agents, and even the part that stays with her, some of it has to go to the office that she works with. So sales agents, they can make plenty of money, but don't think that that's just going to all go to one person. Last up, number 6, I'm going to encourage you to pause. I want you to solve this problem on your own, and I'm going to tell you that in my last class that I taught this, only 2 or 3 people of the 20-some got it correct. The class before it, I think only 4 or 5 got it correct. So this is not a trick question, but you do have to understand what the question's asking. Pause. Come on back when you're ready, please. All right, here we go. Computer, price $800, 30% discount. There's a key mathematics word. What is the cost? I'm going to put the 30% right away in. And we know that the computer was $800 and it's going down. So 800 is the original. Let's find this number out. Now, perhaps you can see right away that there is a very nice scale factor. So we don't really need cross products, but some of you like cross products. You do it every time. That's fine. What if I told you that's the wrong answer? It has nothing to do with the mathematics and everything to do with what is the question asking. Now that last word, after the discount, or maybe even if you understand what the cost is asking, that's kind of important because it went down 240, but that's not what the question is asking. Sure, you had to find that, but you must subtract $240 from 800 to get a final answer of 560. Now, in the past, I just want you to pause for a second, ask yourself, wait, why did that happen? Again, you have to know what the question's asking. Okay, one more avenue. I had a student say, hey, Mr. Cowan, if 40% is taken off, excuse me, if 30% is taken off, could you simply say that 70% is left over and that would be the actual cost? And the answer is yes, ladies and gents. If I were to take 70 to 100 and find the scale factor of 8, That's another way of solving that problem. The key is you have to understand what the question is asking. Are they asking for the percent? Then you'll write P over 100 as in example 3, or 2 or 1. Is it asking for a discount? Then where is the missing piece? Last but not least, what if you have to find that discount, but you're only finding it so that you can actually go down by said discount? So please understand what the question is asking you to do. Folks, that's all I have. Go ahead into that assignment. Bring me your questions if you got any. Have a good day, folks.